Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is, whenever you watch this. Hello to you and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I love to host you, I love to have you here, I love to speak to you, and I love to share my content. Thank you for joining me, and again, those that are new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I am prepared to give you the content. Thank you so much for those that keep coming back to keep viewing the content that I give out. I'm really grateful. Please keep referring people to watch my videos. I do think they could be helpful to someone out there, and yeah, I'm grateful for the support. So thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, share this video and watch till the end, because today I am talking about part 2 of how I met my husband. So I'm going to tell you all the things that I did right to get that ring in 4 months. So stay tuned. That I will say is I was very strict and very particular about the energy that I had around me. I just was done being played. I was just done being lied to. I was just done, and I was just done nagging and complaining. I was actually at the stage where if he doesn't act right, I'm gone. Like, I'm not gonna stick around and hope and have hope and be like, oh, maybe he's gonna change, maybe I'm gonna change him, or impose myself onto him or into his life. That was not me. I was really done with it all. Like, I was just over it. I said to myself, you know what, like, it's either he likes me or he loves me or he doesn't, and I'm not gonna make excuses for him. I'm not gonna make excuses because of his behavior. And so I was very strict with that. I told myself, you know what, he loves me or he doesn't. And I think he sort of caught on to that, because as I mentioned in my first video, there was a time that we stopped talking because, we were both like, listen, like, if we're not gonna progress, like, let's just call it quits, because I'm not about to get my time wasted. So he was like, after some time he called. I mean, I did explain, how it ended up proposing, and that was within that period, because I was like, I was done. I was like done with this guy, and I was like, if you're not gonna take the time to spend time with me, to call me when you need to call me, to do all the right things that a man has to do to his woman or his prospective woman or potential woman, as some people would want to say. So for me, I was very strict with that, and I said, I'm done. Like, I was basically done when this man proposed. I was basically done. And it made me think of something, the law of detachment. Okay, I'm not an expert in the law of attraction, law of detachment, and some people sort of attach that to demonic stuff, but when you look at it in the Bible sense, the law of attraction actually does exist, and that's just believing that you have what you want to have. But at the end of the day, that made me think of something. Like, for you to properly exercise the law of attraction, you need to also exercise the law of detachment. You've got to read up on that, just Google it. And for me to detach myself meant that he would automatically be attracted to me if he is meant for me. So I detached myself from the situation. I was like, I am not about to get my time wasted. I am done. I'm too good for this. Like, I was very strict on my self-worth. I really loved myself. I still do love myself. But that was the beginning of me just loving myself. Like, I just put myself first. In many ways, one being self-care and self-worth. So I think he noticed that, and he picked up on that, and he's like, okay, I'm about to lose this girl. So he did what he had to do, and he stepped up and he got his girl, and now we're here. So that's one thing that I did. Another thing that I did was I didn't complain too much. I used to be like more of a nagger. I would complain all the time, even for the tiniest things, for the smallest things. So for him, I told myself, like, I was actually in a state of mind that I wasn't gonna complain anymore. If he forgets to call me, if he forgets to pick me up, okay, he actually never forgot to pick me up, but if he doesn't call me and the excuse is I'm too tired, or if just something that I would expect him to do and he doesn't do it, or he didn't do it at the time, I would just let it be. Because in my head, this is a grown man and he knows exactly what he's doing and he knows why he's doing it. Why should I stress about it and take time to inquire, to nag, to complain? No, he knows exactly what he's doing and he knows what he's supposed to do. And consistency is very important in that regard. So I, as I said, I detached myself. I didn't complain. And when you detach yourself, it's so easy to not nag or to not complain about it and just let things be. I also found a lot of other things to do, like just to get my mind off of him and to just, you know, have some level of balance in my life. So I spent a lot of time with God. As I said, I spent a lot of time with church activities, and I did what I had to do. I was busy at the time. I was working at a law firm, so I was packed with work. I was always busy, so I didn't have the time to think about, oh, why did he give me a one-word response, or why didn't he call me back? For me, this was a grown man, so it's either you're gonna do the right thing or you don't. And I'm not gonna complain because I just don't have that time. I'm not gonna complain. And if you want to do what you want to do, it's cool. It's up to me whether I want to accept it or not. And for me, I think I made it very clear that I'm not gonna accept this kind of behavior. And I think he saw that and he's like, okay, this is the kind of person she is. And at the end of the day, guys, we allow people to treat us the way they treat us. You need to set boundaries and you need to draw that line and say, I'm not gonna allow this. And when you don't allow it, people don't treat you like that. They don't do that to you. So at the end of the day, we are to an extent responsible for how people treat us, or at least in my experience. So for him, I was like, I'm not gonna do this. And by the way, I'm coming from a place where I was always lied to the people promised to marry me and to, you know, ask for my hand and all that stuff. And so I was really over it. My trust was a bit shaky. I had a bit of trust issues. But I told myself I'm not gonna let that get in the way of love. But also I told myself that those things happened to me for a reason in the past. And I need to be aware of these things, and I need to behave in a certain way just to shield myself from, you know, being played again. Another thing that I did was I wasn't dependent on him. I had my own stuff together. I did my own. I had my own. I never showed him that I depended on him. Whatever he did was on him. He chose to help me. He chose to drive me. He chose to do whatever he wanted to do for me. I never asked him for help at all at any time. And there were actually times where I needed help and I wouldn't even ask him, and he would just step in. Maybe he would observe or he'd see. So that's one of the things that I also did. I also made it a point to require him to put a ring on it. I was at a point where it's either you know you want to be with me or you don't. And I feel like that goes for all the men out there. Like, a year is enough, is more than enough to know whether you want to be with someone or not. Don't be out here wasting people's time. So for him, I required him, but I never told him that, listen, you know, we need to get married or anything. It was never a part of me. And in fact, I never thought the first time we met, yeah, he was cool and everything, but I never really thought that it would progress to marriage. As I did say, I thought that I was never the type of person to get married or to experience a lifetime kind of love. So for me, that was like, oh, okay, all right, God, you want to do this for me? Okay, cool, yeah, I'll take it. I'm grateful. So again, I required him to put a ring on it by my actions. So for me, I never allowed him to mess with my emotions or to play with my feelings or anything. Like, I was very clear about it, you know. It was a thing of, you don't waste my time, you go waste someone else's time. Okay, look at me going back to the first point. But you don't waste my time. So I was very clear. I was like, if I'm going to be in courtship with someone, if I'm going to be in a relationship with someone, it's going to be for the purpose of marriage. I just couldn't be with anybody anymore that wouldn't take me that seriously. For me, it was like, I wasn't gonna do it. Guys, I wasn't gonna do it. And to think that I thought I was never worthy of marriage made me even more serious about this, because I was like, I am not going to. In my head, I was going to be played. Like, in my head, I was going to be played. Even though I knew that this was a good guy and his intentions were okay, I was just preparing myself for that text saying, we can't do this anymore, or it's over, or I found someone else, or like, I was on that. So for me, it was very difficult to just allow myself to be played. So I was like, no, I didn't do that. I was very firm. So that was me requiring him to step up for a bigger commitment, to make a bigger commitment, because there was some level of accountability that I needed, because in the past I found myself in situations where like there was just no accountability. Like, people would just do what they want, play with my feelings, and they move on. Like, everything is fine. Like, you know, and for me, I was like, no, there has to be some kind of accountability. Like, you have to be held accountable for your actions, even not to me, to those, you know, at a higher level than I am, to those that are responsible for me. You need to be accountable to them. And so that was my requirement. I required him to, you know, step up his level of commitment by just my mere actions. I didn't even say a word, because one thing is, if you mention marriage to a man without him mentioning it to you first, chances are he might be turned off. Although it happens to some people, that it can work out with some people, but in most cases, chances are you're gonna turn him off, you're gonna turn him away, he's gonna walk away, because he's gonna be like, oh, this woman's too forward, like, what's going on, like, I don't know. So yeah, that I didn't do that. I didn't say it with my mouth. I just required him to make that commitment, because again, like I said, we allow people to treat us the way they treat us. Yeah, what else did I do? What other thing did I do? I wasn't playing too hard to get. When he asked to marry me, I knew, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I wasn't, you know, the kind of girl that said, oh, I have to go pray about it first, I have to ask God, I didn't waste his time. That was not my plan, and I didn't want my time to be wasted, so I wasn't gonna waste his time. So I didn't really play hard to get. I was just like, you know, we want each other, and so let's do this. Although, of course, I wasn't easy. I mean, you can ask him, we can come and talk about that. I wasn't an easy catch. There were lots of requirements. A lot of requirements. But he met them. He met them effortlessly. And I love that about him. That's why I fell in love with him. Like, it was so effortless and it was so beautiful. Because a lot of the times people think that I have to play hard to get. The chase must be tough and rough, and for me, there's no time. There is no time. It's either you want the person or you don't. Like, move on. Like, don't waste people's time. Don't play with people's feelings, because that stuff has a way of coming back. Like, don't be that person. Just practice kindness all the time. Speaking of kindness, I was very kind to him. I wasn't rude, because he was nice to me. So he approached me with caution, with care, with respect, with love, with happiness, and I returned that back to him. I was very kind. I laughed with him a lot. He would ask in a very nice way for me to make time with him, and I allowed him that. I didn't put the past hurt onto him. I didn't have expectations that I had in my previous relationships. I had new expectations, but those expectations were also not unreasonable. They were just, you know, reasonable enough for any human being to want to abide by, and any human being to want to step up to, especially if they are in love with you. So I didn't make him feel like he had to sweat and work hard and all that stuff, because that can be frustrating. And you know, it can make you it can make the relationship just very sour. Like, why would you ruin your chances of happiness if you can just like just agree and move on and be happy, you know, as long as you know the kind of person that you're marrying. Of course, I'm not saying that you have to be easy and accessible, you know. It helps to have that little, for them to chase a little bit, for them to feel like they might lose you, which is what I did, as I explained. But you know, at the end of the day, that balance must be there. Like, he mustn't feel like he's not gonna win. He mustn't feel like he's wasting his time, especially for guys that are older, because my husband, like, our age difference, we've got a 10-year age gap. So he was already at the point where, listen, I'm looking for marriage, you know, and I was young, still am young, and you know, you don't want to waste someone's time. Like, they want to settle down, they want to start a family, so you don't want to be the one standing in their way. So it's either you want to do it or you don't, and you move on and you let them find the person that they want to find. So I, again, didn't waste his time. I don't know why I keep saying that, but yeah, I didn't. And I wasn't too harsh, I wasn't too hard. I made him see the good side that I had, or that I have, and it's growing. And the other thing that I will say that is very, 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 very important is I allowed him to be the man. I allowed him to teach me, because there were times where he would just be like, no babe, that's not good, you know, that's toxic behavior, you need to change this, you have to be a better person and do this the right way. And I allowed him to teach me. And if I wouldn't agree with whatever he'd say or how he would teach me, I would respectfully address the situation and air my views. And when I would do that respectfully, he would also open up and he would listen to me and we would understand each other. So for me, I allowed him to be the man. I didn't, you know, I wasn't harsh. I wasn't like, I really didn't put him in a corner. I allowed him to be the man. I allowed him to express himself as the man. And when you allow that, you know, with a gentle nature, men just become gentle, or most men, they're supposed to be. When you approach them with respect and in a gentle manner, then, I mean, that's reciprocated. Anyway, and one thing about my husband is he's always been very observant. So I didn't realize he would always look at how I would treat the people around me, whether it's service providers, whether it's my friends, my family. He would always watch how I speak to them, how I treat them. And one thing he did say to me was, I love your kindness. Whoa, I'm not saying I'm kind like the way I'm supposed to be. I'm just saying I can approach people with kindness. It's something that I've been working on. I've not always been like that. I'm working on it, and sometimes I fall and I get up and I fix it and I try to be better. I try to just better myself and to be more kind. So that's one thing he pointed out. He's like, you know what, I really appreciate your kindness. You know, I would never get into a verbal fight. Let's not even talk about physical fighting, because that could never be me. Oh my lord, no, that could never be me. Whew, guys. Anyway, yeah, no, so I would never get into, if I would get into an emotional battle with someone, or confrontation, something confrontational, he would always advise me to take it easy and to be kind and to use respectful words. So I've been learning, and I allowed him to do that. And yeah, like I said, I was teachable and he loved it, and the kindness that I would show, he also loved it. And the one thing, this should probably be my last point because the video is really long. The one most important thing, I always ask my husband, why? Like, why me? Why'd you choose me? Apart from him thinking that I'm really beautiful, or that, you know, he also thinks I'm smart. One thing is that we would always laugh. Like, I always tell you guys, like, I'm the cloud in this house. I always find the silver lining in every situation. I always laugh about things. And we could laugh like kids, you know, in preschool, and we just love laughter. It would heal our bodies. It would heal our relationship. It still does. it just creates a happy, fun, free space. And you know what they say, that the more you laugh with someone, the stronger your bond becomes. So that's one thing that we did that was right. One thing I did forget to mention is that I made sure that I was always clean and I always smelled good. Is it smelled? I always had a good scent. I was always clean and I smelled clean. That was me. I had this particular perfume. It was oil based, right? And I would just put a little bit on me, like every time he would meet me and all that. It's called Flower Bomb. Those oil based perfumes. I should get it again. It smells heavenly, and he would smell that, and every time I'd sit, whether he would pick me up or whatever, and I'd sit in his car, that smell would remain in the car. It would remain there, and he'd always be like, oh, I'm thinking about you, you know, I just love how you smell, I just love how clean you are, I just love how beautiful you look. Because you must remember, the way you smell says a lot about who you are. So if you smell good, it enhances your attractiveness. Hey guys, you must smell nice. So yeah, on a serious note, I tried to always smell good. I didn't always look the best. I didn't always have the best of outfits to wear. I'm not a fashionista. I just try to look presentable. I just try to look clean, and I try to smell good. That's what drew him to me. I really don't know what's going on with my English today, guys. Whew, my dear. So yeah, those are some of the things that I did. I'm sorry if they're like all over the place, but I always just want to talk like I'm having a conversation, like one-on-one, and yeah, from the heart. I just want to gravitate away from writing stuff down now, and I just want to really speak from the heart and be real. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I did. I love talking about this. I love talking about my husband and my favorite miracle. Maybe I should do another video why I say that he's my favorite miracle, because that's such a deep statement. That's such a... Let's not get into it. I'll just get emotional. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like, guys. Please do comment. I really love hearing from you, and let's have this conversation in the comment section. Please do share this as much as you can. I appreciate your support. Remember to subscribe. Please do subscribe. I appreciate all the love that I've been getting so far. And yeah, thank you. Stay tuned for the next video, guys. Ciao.